This episode of Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief is brought to you by Right By You Mortgage. Wherever life takes you, we're right by you. Visit rightbyyoumortgage.com/podcast to learn more.
From WRAL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Wednesday, September 30th. I'm Brian Schrader. Local coronavirus headlines include potential Halloween plans for Durham and Chapel Hill, relief for people facing conviction in Wake County, and hope for families across North Carolina who have been unable to see loved ones for months. We start in Wake County, where this week officials announced new funding to help prevent evictions from forcing people out of their homes. County leaders hope that $17 million from the CARES Act will be able to help more than 3,000 families avoid eviction. The money will pay back up to 50% of back rent owed from March to December of this year, and in return, landlords agree to forgive the remaining 50% of rent payments and discount rent by 25% from January to March. Landlords also have to agree not to pursue eviction while tenants receive help. Ed Barbario is the deputy director of Wake County's housing department. He tells WRAL that those who own property also need to be looked out for.
We're trying to also protect our landlords, because these are the people that are providing the housing. And we all need to have money. We have to pay mortgages. We need to protect our housing stock so landlords don't start losing their properties too.
Wake County Commissioner Greg Ford is hoping that the county and people who are suffering can get ahead of a looming federal deadline at the end of the year when the federal eviction moratorium comes to an end.
We cannot wait until January to offer housing assistance to residents struggling to make ends meet. So by getting in front of this now, we can help folks get caught up on rent payments or find alternative housing solutions.
More information on how you can apply for assistance right now on WRAL.com. You'll soon be able to visit people in nursing homes indoors. The clearance comes as North Carolina's Department of Health and Human Services updated its visitation guidelines, assuming that certain conditions are met. Nursing homes must not have had any positive coronavirus cases in the past 14 days, and the county must have a percentage positive testing rate below 10%. Lauren Zingraf is an advocate for long-term care residents and says it's good news for so many who haven't been able to spend time with their loved ones.
Nursing homes and assisted living communities, these are their homes. This is where they live. It's not just a hotel stay. It's not just an overnight. And so just like we like to have our loved ones come visit us and have fellowship and fun and love at the holidays, they love it too, and they need it too. And we've had a pandemic of residents suffering with severe depression and anxiety and social isolation and loneliness. And so we believe that residents' mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being will all improve with these new recommendations from DHHS.
The changes are immediate, so if you have a loved one you hope to see, feel free to do it as long as the home meets the criteria. There are more than 400 nursing homes in North Carolina. By the end of this week, we could have a better idea of what Halloween celebrations might look like in Durham and Chapel Hill. Durham Mayor Steve Schewel told WRAL that he plans to meet with neighborhood organizers on Tuesday to get their thoughts. The town of Chapel Hill, which normally shuts down Franklin Street for celebrations, hopes to have its plans finalized by Thursday. And while the rebound is underway for restaurants across the state hit hard by the pandemic, there is a long way to go. WRAL's Deborah Morgan spoke with Steve Thanhauser, who is the chair of the North Carolina Restaurant and Lodging Association. He talked about the many hurdles they're facing in the months ahead.
What's the pulse of the industry as we look ahead to the fourth quarter?
You know what? It is incredibly challenging. The state has over 18,000 restaurants, over 500,000 restaurants have employees, over 500,000 restaurant employees. And right now, and these are estimates, but more than 3,000 restaurants in our state have not been open since the shutdown on March 17th. That's almost 7 months, and that is really, really scary. So, our hope is that in very short order, we can get some of these restaurants back open. We can get opened up a bit more. If we're following the social distancing guidelines, we're using the 6-foot rule, which is critically important. Everyone in the restaurants should be wearing masks, as well as all the additional hand washing stations and all the additional sanitary guidelines that are outlined. But you know what? It is a challenge right now. And, our hope is that the governor in phase 3 will open up hotels and meeting rooms and some of these event spaces. So in addition to being at 50% in the restaurant, we can also have guests come to these event spaces and hotel meeting rooms and ballrooms and things like that.
This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Wednesday, September 30th, 2020. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Leave a rating or review wherever you listen, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a new episode. I'm Brian Schrader. Thanks for listening.
When it comes to buying a new home, you want to know that you're in good hands. At Right By You Mortgage, the dedicated team of lenders live in your community and are committed to being right by you every step of the way. Whether you are a growing family, a relocating professional, or a retiring couple, they'll partner with you to find the right loan to fit your unique home buying needs. Plus, with a Right By You Mortgage on-time closing guarantee, they'll pay you and the seller $500 if you don't close on time. Visit rightbyyoumortgage.com/podcast to get started. Wherever life takes you, we're right by you. Go to rightbyyoumortgage.com/podcast for full details. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 402136.